Hi, everybody. It's Grace Schiffman,
And Caryn Prall.
and it is another Tuesday and another time for us to get together and talk about some really important things. Especially today, I think the topic is going to be kind of important to both of us, but really in different ways. And I think that there is going to be a lot of women that are going to really resonate with the subject of money. So money is at like a really touchy subject, right? I mean, a lot of people don't like to talk about it. Women, I think are taught not to um, talk about how much money they make or where they're spending it or where they're going. And I think that that's kind of wrong sometimes. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about what we're calling the silent experience. What really high earning women sometimes have to go through with money. So I'm going to start with you, Karen. The silent experience of money, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Let's go back in time a little bit to 1974. 1974 was the year that changed for women. Women could own their own bank account. They could get a credit card without a spouse consenting or being on the application. They could they were buying homes on their own. And in just over 50 years, we've had a really big shift where now women out earn men in relationships. And in real estate, I see it more and more. We talk about it's our turn. We've talked about what that shift looks like. But what we don't talk about is the underlying stresses it can cause because we're we're designed by be sweet, right? Keep quiet. My apologies, that's my fault. But be sweet, keep quiet, and just to grin and bear it. What we don't understand is when we have unexpected success, right? Or we start out earning our partners, how that changes in the dynamic of a relationship. It changed in mine. And I do think money is the number one reason for divorce, but I think it's not about the money. It's about the meaning of the relationship that men and women, and when that dynamic shifts with money. And it's hard. Women are the primary child care provider, right? Oftentimes, like I don't see a lot of dads running around and scheduling babysitters so I could have date night, right? Like women have an innate responsibility because we're women to protect and take care of our children. And so it's a really difficult place to be in. Women can feel very responsible for everyone. We are carrying households. We entered into a lifestyle we didn't predict. We're afraid to slow down because our income might drop when it's solely the responsibilities on us, and in a sales career, how much this can shift.
So I think that that's a really important aspect, right? Not only are we responsible for ourselves, but a lot of times we're responsible for children, grown, young or grown. Sometimes we still take that responsibility. We're responsible for, in many cases, our elderly parents. We're responsible for a lot of stuff. With all of that comes the pressure to maintain an income. And especially like you're talking, we're salespeople. Incomes can fluctuate up and down unless we take care of some stuff, right? But I think that pressure is intensified on women. And you're right. I don't see a whole lot of men saying, "Hey, let me find a babysitter for a date night," or "Let's do that." I think a lot of that pressure still in society is on us. And for women of our age, the pressure is even more. Have I saved for retirement? Is my husband ready to retire like mine is? What are we going to do when that income is cut? What are we going to do to secure our children and our grandchildren's future? I think all of that, you know, whether we like it or not, falls on women. So that's another strategic kind of area that we're going to be talking about. How do we protect those assets and where do we go from here, Karen?
It is how like it's a trap of success, right? We get into a trap is that you can be very powerful in your business and in your career, but you're powerless with your money because you didn't set it up right. And I keep going back to the fundamentals of setting it up correctly. And if we avoid looking at our numbers, or if we avoid understanding ownership and structure and how to set yourself up and your family up, right? We're not here looking to expect to for a relationship to break up or change. What we're looking for is that we are going in with eyes wide open.
Yes, and I want everybody to understand this. I mean, you know what? We all have wonderful relationships. Um, I don't ever want you to think that this is a man hater group, that we're saying, oh, now that we're like making all this money, blah, 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 the responsibility comes on us. But I think it's a different world. It's a different world than when my mom, stayed home. Yeah, when I think it's a different world. And we're the first ones I think, of a generation that have gone through that shift. Like by the time my daughter is our age, I mean, she's going to have a lot of role models that have gone through it. But I think our generation right now, women, 45 and up, maybe even a little bit younger, 40 and up, are having the shift of mindset because in this industry, Karen is absolutely right. We're the highest earners. And with that comes a lot of stuff that we change the way the dynamic of our relationship with our significant other. It changes the dynamic of the relationship with our children, and it really does. It becomes incumbent upon us to look at those changes and say, how do I make it better, and how do I make sure that in 10 years I'm not totally burnt out, that I can't work anymore because I just it's too much. How do I protect what I've earned, and how do I keep it going so I don't fall behind, or I don't feel like I've left my kids behind, or I can't retire? I think that's a big conversation, Karen.
Absolutely. Like money, our topic is money without apology. And to me, it means money without control, right? It's knowing your numbers. That's scary to face. It's being transparent with liabilities, debts, taxes. It's doing a profit and loss statement so you have a discussion and it's black and white. You're not making decisions based on emotions or feelings. It's also feeling empowered and permission. I needed permission to learn about wealth, right? I had to have someone say, I grant you permission to learn about what to be wealthy. I had to get permission. And so we're here to empower everyone to get permission to get what they want. But it's also okay to want to earn an income. You want to be wealthy, but the tremendous pressure and the avoidance we have around this is just big. Is let's say there was no one else around you, Grace. The question I ask, there's no one else that you have to answer to. Are you living the life you want to? Are you living the life by design? Are you living at your greatest potential? And I think about that. If no one else is around me to tell me I can't do it, or my inner voice is telling me I can't do it, shouldn't do it, I haven't earned it. Yes, you have, because that negative self talk is also what's keeping you in a cage in a way, right? And some when we build these businesses and we start earning income and we start making money, now we can feel in a cage, which I'm sure how many providers feel, men, women, indifferent, right? That now they're locked in a cage, like I have to keep this job. Well, now I have to keep up the energy and the momentum to be able to do this. But how do you receive money without that guilt and shame and give yourself the permission first for being a business owner?
Oh, that's good, Karen. You know what? And I think that that's a big learning experience for a lot of us, right? How do we not have shame surrounding money? How can I mean, it took me a long time, and I think it was you, Karen, that pulled it out of me. How hard it was to say that really I'm a self-made millionaire, right? How hard was that to say? I mean, really.
Like, Grace, it was like 9 years of our relationship for you to actually articulate the words and verbalize them. 9 years. Because
Yes.
Steve has had a very secure job with the government, right? He's getting ready to retire. He's earned that retirement, and he's been a very steady provider. And when you wanted to buy your first investment property and you wanted to go build a family team and you wanted to go do this stuff, he was a little leery, right?
Yes. Yes.
And now, of course, he's all in.
Yes, but I think that comes from, and that's what I want to get across to people in our group, right? In the rain circle, is that we all need the Karen Pralls in our life, because I could be that for you, right? Someone that says, do not be ashamed of what you've done. Look at what you've done and own it. own it and be proud of it instead of saying, well, you know what, we really shouldn't be talking about that, or, it's private. No, it's not, doesn't necessarily have to be private, because I think it's incumbent upon us as we go up in life to make sure that others see us the way we should be seen. And that's going to be powerful, that's going to be strong, and that's going to be, in many cases, in this group of women, wealthy.
That's it. Is what is it you want? Do you know that you deserve it? Are you looking for more? And it's okay for wanting more, right? And it's also okay for not wanting more if you're content. And what does contentment look like? If you're paring down businesses that aren't serving you or aren't profitable, right? There's a lot of cleanup to go to. What does that reset look like? And what action items do you need to address first?
So I think a lot of this comes to mindset, right? We need to clear our mind. We need to make sure that we're going in the right path. But also another thing that I've learned is that you need to have the right people around you. You have to have the CPA. You have to have the people that are going to show you this is a path, because although I know how to buy a house, I know how to sell a house, I know how to keep it in my portfolio, I sure as heck don't know what Bill, our accountant, has taught us about how to depreciate, how to do all of this stuff to keep that money working for us. So I think that that's another really big separate lesson that we're going to be working very carefully in, is that you can earn a buck, but you don't need to spend that buck. So I
What?
think, yes, you can earn it, but you don't have to spend it. So I think that that's going to be very, very important for us going forward. Is financially, we all need to be really savvy. Stuff that I never learned. That we want to make sure that you learn, not the hard way, not,
No, we
yeah,
do that for you. The hard
yeah.
way we've done.
Yes. Yes, the tax mistakes. Yeah, all of that stuff we've done. So we want to make sure that the path is clear for everybody in the rain circle, that we are going to do this together, that we're going to grow, whether it's, through real estate, through investments, through money, or through just being safe and secure in where you're at. Because no one wants to be selling houses when they're 80 years old. Come on. So I think that that's a really good path that we're going to be on, Karen.
That's true. And retirement is not about sitting down and taking naps. Retirement is about freedom. And that's what we're trying to design. But you have to back up into it, just like your body. If you don't treat your body well in your 20s, you don't believe anyone when they tell you this. But then when you get older, like, well, this is why you have this, or this is why this is happening. You're like, oh, I should have listened to all the old people, right? Is we want to stop the madness before it starts, and then you get too far into it to undo it. It's what is a big audacious goal that I can say inside this private safe group, right? And put it out there. And I know my big audacious goal is insane. And however, if I don't have a big audacious goal that makes me cringe and cry at the same time, that I won't even get anywhere close to it. And so you are enough, you are worth it, you are value it, and it is of no one else's authority or influence for you to decide what your own worth and what your own value is. That's for you to decide and go after.
So, for anybody who, like, and not that we're preachers or anything, but for anybody who believes in God, right? I want you to understand he didn't put you on earth to be mediocre or to settle for less, right? We're each so incredibly formed that we have the ability. It's us that stops us, because God didn't say Grace Schiffman, or at that time Grace Ramirez, you're going to be this little person and you're just going to do this and do that and don't let your light shine, have children, don't let your light shine. No, I think in each of us, the process and the thought is there. You can be great. You can succeed where you want to succeed. And my success is not Karen's. Karen's success is not Christina's. All of our successes are measured differently. And I think that that's really important, because it's not always about money. I don't ever want people to say, oh my gosh, you guys just want us to make more money. No, we want you to be, like Karen said, happy and successful where you're at. And we want to help you get there.
And also are you reaching your potential? Are you reaching your stride? Are you reaching, because you can feel momentum. Like when you have business coming in and your pipeline's pretty full and things are kind of flowing. But what if that changes? You know, because sometimes, most often, people then increase their lifestyle. They buy nicer cars, they do nicer things, and then you're like, oh crap, I can't stop. What if I get ill? What if I have to take care of a loved one? What if I want to travel? Like, you didn't expect your daughter to move to Hawaii, right? And that's a 10-hour flight, and it's a lot of work to get there. So how are you prepared for these life changes that that you're able to have both? Balance is not balance of 50-50. Balance is 70 this way and 30 this way, and then it flip-flops and it swings. But our goal is just to make sure that you can start with giving yourself authority and permission to get what it is that you desire the most.
Yes, give yourself permission, and we're here. Like I told you before, we're here to help you not make the mistakes that we made and grow with us, because I think that that's really important to have sisters around you that are going to lift you up, that are going to say this is okay. I've done a grace and it's going to be fine. I think that all of those kind of things, we're just going to grow together in the rain circle.
Without that group of safety, to have people say, I'm thinking of this, or I'm doing this, or Grace, gosh, this is what I have to deal with today with my attorney. Like, without having that safe space, it's hard to reach your potential. And I would guess that most women watching this know that they have not reached their potential. And there's a quote I made years ago, 10 years ago, and it sticks with me all the time. And I want to be legendary. I want to be like Caryn Prall paved the way. Like, I just had a leader text me last night, you paved the way for this. And I was like, oh, that means a lot. That's my legacy. So this quote I stick with. You ready?
Yes.
Remember that person, remember that woman who quit? Neither does anyone else.
Oh, say that again.
Remember that woman who quit? Neither does anyone else.
That is good.
You want to be legendary, you want to make an impact, you have to start somewhere. And I know that it starts right here.
So none of us are quitters. So
No,
we're going to be legendary.
we already are.
Yay! Yay! We are enough. We're just going to go that extra step.
Well, it's one by one. It's changing someone's life one by one that fits to them.
Yes. Well, I'm so excited. I think we're here. We're pretty soon. We need to say what? Subscribe to our newsletter. So if we'll get the link for that, I think that's pretty important. We can't wait to grow with you. You know, we say this at the end of every one of these short webinars that we've been doing, is that we can't wait to grow with you, because I think Caryn is right. What we do together, what we form together, I want one of these days for you guys to say, you know, I was in this rain circle with Caryn and Grace, and this is where I'm at now. So I think that that's really important.
Well, absolutely, because then they can carry the legacy just like the people before us did. But remember, ladies, this just started in 1974, and how fast this dynamic has shifted in just a few decades, right? And so our time is now, and this, we get to make every choice and the freedom around it. And so that's where not apologizing and having full authority over your professional career.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I think that we learned a lot, and we have a lot of strategic planning to do so that we look at 2026 right in the face and say, we're getting it, and 2027 and beyond. I'm really excited, Caryn.
Me too. I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye bye, everybody. Mwah.